like, Meth, come on, get in the car. I'm like, what the I'm not making a connection here. And I'm like, oh, that's Puff car. Ain't no way I'm getting in that fucking car. I look at Pac, and Pac got a whole different face. His face looked like that picture before he died, that face he had.
Oh, that's right.
That look. He had that look on his face. You know what I mean?
So do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I could say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. Right. So every time he say it didn't happen, that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. If you're gonna act like you a gangster or a G or the king of New York, I'm gonna expect that. And when you don't come through, then I'm gonna want to crush your empire. And that's what it's time for.
Method Man is finally opening up about a private conversation he had with Tupac not long before Pac was killed, and it sounds like Pac was trying to send him a warning. He hinted that Diddy wasn't exactly the person he portrayed himself to be, and that the industry was being quietly controlled in ways most artists had no clue about back then. Now, before anyone tries to dismiss this as just another rumor, the truth is Tupac and Method Man had a genuine connection. They collaborated on Got My Mind Made Up, which came out in 1996, just months before Pac was killed. He still made the effort to collaborate with East Coast rappers he genuinely respected, even while his beef with Bad Boy was heating up. And out of all those names, Pac always made it clear that Method Man was one of the few he actually trusted. Now here's where things get interesting. In one of their final convos, Pac reportedly warned Meth to be careful around certain people, and Diddy's name came up. Meth didn't spill every detail, but he did mention there was a moment when Diddy invited him to leave a party together. Meth said the vibe felt off, so he passed on the offer. Looking back, he admitted that both he and Pac were on edge back then, and honestly, considering everything happening around them, they had every right to be.
But Puffy, P. Diddy, and you around a bunch of other motherfuckers. Showtime, baby. And I don't.
So here's some quick context. Method Man was one of the rare East Coast rappers who managed to stay neutral during the whole East Coast vs. West Coast tension. While most were choosing sides or getting dragged into the drama, Meth kept his respect solid on both ends. He worked with Biggie and Diddy early in his career, but he also had genuine love for Pac, and he didn't let the media force a divide. He wasn't about that fake industry loyalty. He just wanted to spit his bars, stay true to his crew, and stay clear of the politics. And maybe that's why Pac trusted him enough to open up, because he knew Meth wasn't to face. He was just trying to stay afloat in the madness. Now, Meth has always kept himself out of the gossip, and even with all the noise around Diddy these days, he's mostly kept his head down and moved forward. That's always been his style key. It's solid and speak only when it matters. But now, an old interview with Meth is going viral again, and it's got people looking at things in a whole new light. In that interview, Meth breaks down the night he met both Diddy and Tupac Yep, same night at a party in La. Meth says Pac came right up to him and showed nothing but respect. And what stood out? Pac brought up the Wu-Tang chain situation, when RZA got his chain snatched at Club 662.
We on our way out. Lights come on at the end of the party. Party over. Lights come on. I'm blowed now. I'm like, feel a tap on my shoulder. Turn around. It's Pac. Last I ain't seen all night. I ain't know he was even in there. I turn around. Pac there. He's like, yo, wanna holler at you? Anybody? Next thing I know, cameras ever. So while he's saying this, I remember something an altercation happened with RZA in Vegas. Something happened with the chain, and Pac was trying to tell me, if I was there, that would never happen. Blah, 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 blah. And I remember looking up, and Suge was like this with the cigar in his mouth, looking down at me like this. So I'm like, damn, I'm just on a plane with this. He looking at me crazy right now, So then I look at Pac, and Pac got a whole different face. His face looked like that picture before he died. That face he had.
Oh, that's right.
That look. He had that look on his face, you know what I mean? And I remember looking back down, and I couldn't understand anything he was saying after that, because mad was going through my head, and I'm looking at the death row piece on his chain. Then he was like, yeah, we gonna all meet up. And I was like, yeah, you know how men do it. We're handling our business. Walked out. Soon as I walked out the club, Tracy Waples. Love Trey Wap.
Executive label executive, worked behind the scenes for a long time.
She outside in a Benz like, Meth, come on.
Pac later mentioned in another interview that he personally tracked down the ones who took the chain and told Wu-Tang straight up if they wanted to confront the guys who did it, they could come see him. But here's where it gets weird. Meth said that right after he finished talking with Pac, Diddy had someone come over and try to get Meth to jump in his car and leave with him. Fortunately, Meth said the energy felt off, so he declined the invite.
Walked out. Soon as I walked out the club, Tracy Waples. Love Trey Wap.
Executive label executive. Yeah. Worked behind the scenes for a long time.
She outside in a Benz like, Meth, come on, get in the car. I'm like, what the? I'm not making a connection here. And I'm like, oh, that's Puff car. That's Puffy car. Ain't no way I'm getting it. No.
And now, with everything surfacing about those private Diddy parties, that one small moment suddenly feels a lot heavier. Meth didn't make any bold claims in that interview, he just laid out the story as it happened. But fans are definitely reading between the lines now, especially with what's come to light about Diddy's behind-the-scenes behavior and how he used to pull rappers into his party circle.
Tennessee, come out and play.
Tennessee, come out and play. And if you've been really paying attention, Meth Man's been leaving clues for a minute now. He never said it outright, but the warnings have been there. One of the clearest hints came from his verse on Suspect Chin Music, where he spit "They got me fed up from the head up. Put up or shut up on stage in them shiny get-ups ninjas is funny Energizer bunny actors. They hustle backwards, son. I think they gave rapper saying it's not hard to put the pieces together. Meth was clearly throwing shade at the flashy, fake gangster rappers who were running the scene at the time. And let's be real, that had Bad Boy era written all over it. Back then, most people probably missed the deeper meaning because no one wanted to touch those subjects out loud. But now, with all these new details about Diddy coming out, it's starting to feel like Meth may have seen it coming and chose to speak in code. But what about Tupac? What was he really trying to warn Meth about? According to people who were close to Pac and what fans are now connecting, this wasn't just about some surface level rap beef. Pac had already started to see Diddy as more than just a music rival. He viewed him as a piece of a bigger system, one that was using the industry to silence voices and take advantage of artists. Pac believed Diddy wasn't just playing along, he was helping rig the whole game. Whether it was shady contracts, strange parties, or secret deals, Pac felt Diddy's whole image was fake and he didn't want Meth falling into that trap. But things get even darker when you revisit Tupac's infamous 1996 Vibe interview. In it, Pac flat out said that some of the biggest names in the music world were tied to some of the worst kinds of crimes, including pedophilia, and yet those same people were being shielded by the system. Meanwhile, Pac was being dragged through the mud and locked up over what he always claimed was a false charge. And while Pac didn't say Diddy's name directly in that part, the message was clear. The whole interview was aimed straight at Bad Boy and everyone backing them. If you read between the lines, it's not hard to see who he was calling out.
Because they disrespected me, my name, my family, what I had been through. They said that I couldn't be in pain. I could not feel, I could not be hurt. In my moment of pain, when I was shot 5 times in jail for a crime I didn't commit, while every other black person, whoever they was in the ass or them in 50 pieces, I support. I go to jail for a crime everybody know I did not commit. Times, and I'm getting jail, wompty, they just saying anything to assassinate my character. What that showed me, remember this lack of a conscience when I come out. Remember this lack of mercy when I come out. Remember this lack of compassion when I come out. And I will do anything to protect and feed my family. And these represent a threat.
But that's not where it ends. Another old interview popped up recently where Suge Knight hinted at the same thing saying Pac was worried about certain industry guys on the DL doing serious harm, especially to vulnerable people.
If it was a rapper that messed with guys and go both ways, Pac didn't feel that was good. Because Pac felt he was real serious about the music. So if you're a producer or you rap, and regardless if you're married or not, and you got a boyfriend that works for you, a real boyfriend who used to be a dancer, Pac would study all the facts. Pac was real smart. So before he say something, he'd go and do his homework. He'd say, okay, this guy right here, they say he gay, he go both ways. I'm not gonna put it out there on him yet, but I'm gonna do my research, and if it's true, the world should know. Because this guy might be around one of those little kids one day and mess around with them, and so I'm gonna do it to actually save him from molesting a little child. That's why Pac attacked certain rappers and said, they gay.
And looking back now, it's obvious Pac was way ahead of his time. He wasn't just exposing fake loyalty or calling out shady contracts, he was trying to shine light on something much bigger. He believed Diddy was tied to something deeper. A hidden network inside the music business full of untouchable elites doing whatever they wanted with full protection. And Pac was one of the few who had the guts to try and lift that curtain. That might explain why he became such a major target so fast. And honestly, when you sit with it, it's wild. Tupac, not Diddy, was the one being followed and surveilled by the FBI for years.
So they saw that COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program set up by J. Edgar Hoover, saw that the Panthers were doing a damn good job because all over the country they got this buzz. Similar to how Thug Life is. So, Thug Life. Yeah. So now, the Panthers got everybody talking about the Panthers and we want to be free and we want decent housing and talking good, not just bitch hole, you know, straight good. And they start infiltrating. Now, why would they do this to a young black organization? And why would you not think they would do it to me? They infiltrated, meaning they got people to say that they were Panthers, they joined the Panthers, and they would start the ruckus. Like, say, let's go shoot up the Botanical Gardens or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And do it in the name of the Panthers, but it's a cop. You know what I'm saying? And everybody think it's the Panthers because he's dressed like a Panther. You know what I'm saying? And he's screaming the Panthers, but he's a cop. He's been sent by the FBI. They got papers to document this shit. You know what I'm saying?
The FBI built a file on Pac over 4,000 pages deep, and to this day, only about 100 pages have been released, and even those are heavily blacked out. Meanwhile, Diddy, who's now facing a wave of lawsuits and serious claims from people close to him, was protected, not monitored. The same agencies that track Pac's every move seemed to look the other way when it came to Diddy. And now, all these years later, the stuff Pac was hinting at is starting to line up, which brings us back to Method Man. Fans are saying he may have had a lucky escape that night when he turned down Diddy's car offer. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe nothing. Or maybe he would have been caught up in something he couldn't back out of. So what do you think? Was Tupac trying to warn not just meth, but the entire industry? Was Diddy really operating as part of something bigger this whole time? And why did the system work so hard to silence Tupac while protecting Diddy? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll catch you in the next video.